Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. Today we are going to do a fire sale. It's time to get rid of some cars. We've got so many of them, and there's a good reason why I'm getting rid of some of them. We're going to slowly pull each one into the shop and talk about why I'm selling it. Let's get started. So today we have 4 vehicles we're going to be advertising for sale. Some of them are already advertised for sale. Crazy D is who you'll be contacting in the office if you have any questions about any of them or you want some pictures or things of that nature. Starting with this 2006 Yamaha Straddle liner. This is an awesome motorcycle. And just as you'll find with any of the vehicles that I list today, there's nothing wrong with the vehicle that makes me want to sell it. I'm getting older. I'm 41 years old now. And just like my grandfather before me, I'm starting to get arthritis in my lower back, in my hips, and even in some of my joints. You can start to see them getting a little swollen in certain areas. That makes for a very unpleasant motorcycle ride. But as it is, if I'm riding down the road, my arms will start to go numb. My back starts hurting really bad, then one of my legs goes numb. Anyways, you guys get the gist of the story. It's not fun for me to ride anymore. This is an awesome bike. The bike is not the problem. It's me. I'm really not enjoying riding anymore. So we're going to start with this one. It only has 31,000 miles on it. It doesn't have tons of miles, 50, 70, 80,000 miles like some of these have. It says 31. This is a straddle liner, but I currently have it set up as a road liner. It doesn't have the pillion seat. It doesn't have the windshield or any of the hard bags, which are over here. We'll take a look at those here in a minute. It can be converted back to a straddle liner really easily. These things literally just snap and bolt on really fast, but I like the look of it as it is. A little bit about the bike. I'm going to reiterate something that Sean Kerr said on Bikes and Beards. He reviewed a road liner, and his comment was, and I also agree with it, there is nothing that Harley-Davidson makes today in the showroom that you can buy stock for stock. Not even a filter mod, air filter mod, stock for stock, that can outrun this bike. Now he did say the CVO motorcycles, those line of Harleys, could keep up or even be right next to this thing, but not beat it really. This is a very, very fast cruiser. It's a 1900cc V-twin, has right at 100 horsepower. It's like 110 or 120 pounds of torque. It's lots of power. This is not for a beginner. If you're interested in looking at buying motorcycles, you're watching this video and say, hey, I'd like to learn on that bike, this probably wouldn't be a learner's motorcycle. This thing will throw you in the ditch if you're not careful. You don't know what you're doing. It's in very good shape. We'll take a look around it here. It's not beat up. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the bike. It's just me. It has a nice exhaust system. It doesn't have stock pipes on it. It has the Cobra long exhaust. As you can see, they're not extra long all the way out to here. They're just the longs. But it sounds really, really good. At idle, it's not too loud, and if you're just cruising around town, it's not loud. But if you get on it, it barks really, really nicely. It has a great sound to it. This has a 5-speed transmission, dual front disc brakes, disc in the rear, belt drive, and oodles of power. It has a really nice gauge face. It has a kind of an antique clock or a pocket watch look. It looks really cool. It has blue lettering, blue needles on the gauges. Kind of a neat throwback to the old days. It does have an aftermarket volt gauge here. I really like that, so if the stator goes out and it's not charging anymore, you will know really quickly. Not an hour down the road when your bike dies. Has really cool styling in the front end, no damage, it's not been dropped, it's not been scraped. Really cool Art Deco front end. It's really in very, very good shape. Like I mentioned at the beginning here, this is a straddle liner. It's just set up as a road liner. If you would like it back looking like a straddle liner, all the parts and pieces and bolts and everything are here. There's the frame, both hard bags, the windshield, and the pillion seat. Everything's here to go back to being a road liner. It never did have the sissy bar or the backrest that was behind the pillion. I never got one, and I never messed with buying one and putting it back on. They did come with that stock, but I never did mess with it. But like I said, everything else is here to make it back into a straddle liner.
Well, Wizard, that's a nice car.
Yes, it's huge.
There you go.
Just as promised, this thing would be up for sale. This is a 1969 Cadillac Fleetwood Broom. It is in very good shape. There's lots of these for sale on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace that have the trunk rusted out, the interior is destroyed. It doesn't even run for $5,000 because they're becoming very collectible. This one runs, it drives, the paint is decent, and the interior is very, very nice. Why am I getting rid of this? Carburetors. I don't like carburetors anymore. I don't want to finagle with it. I don't want to fool with it. You guys have seen in many videos I have Grandma. That's my old school land yacht that's fuel injected, that has all the amenities that I want, and it's very modern feel. I think my days of old land yachts are kind of over. Again, there's nothing wrong with the vehicle. Everything works. The AC works, the heater works, climate control I guess you want to call it. The wipers work. The cruise control even works. Power windows all work, power seats all work. Everything works, the radio works. Now let's take a look under the hood. Here is a 10.5 to 1 compression ratio, high compression, 472 big block Cadillac. This is a tire roaster, guys. If you get on it and get the 4 barrels in it, it'll just burn rubber for days. These engines are known for having lots and lots of torque, and this one definitely delivers. In previous videos, you guys saw that we were going to swap this thing out for a little Oldsmobile diesel. After we got halfway through the swap, I started seeing I'm going to have to hack the frame, I'm going to have to cut cross members. And this car is so nice, I made the decision in a previous video, I'm not going to do this to this car. I'm not going to cut it up and hack it up, just so I can fit a different engine in. We fixed up the old 472, had the heads rebuilt, put it all back together. It's got an Edelbrock carburetor, not a Quadrajet anymore, because I don't like messing with carburetors. This has 2 screws on the carburetor. You set it up the way you want it and you're done. That's it. But it shifts fine, it drives fine, the engine runs great. It's in very good shape under the hood. Like I said, everything works. Let's take a look around the car and go down the side and check out how nice this thing really is. You can look down the whole body line and see that it's not caved in, it's not dented, it doesn't have giant rust holes in it. It's got original hubcaps, kind of like a dog dish, I think that's what they call them. I think it has been repainted in the past. I don't know when that was. It's a decent paint job, but it's not the best. The vinyl top on this car is in good shape. It's not ripped or torn, but there is one flaw. You can see little rust bubbles, which is common on these years of Cadillacs, underneath the vinyl. What that comes from is water gets in behind the rear window and trickles down and it kind of rusted. I've resealed it myself with some sealer so that doesn't continue to get worse. But just to let you guys know up front, it does have that going on. It's not bad, it's just little bubbles underneath. It's not structurally unsound. The fender skirts are there. So many of these cars don't have them and the owner says, I don't know what happened to them, they're gone. This one has them. And it has the beautiful 1 year only lantern style taillights. You don't get this in 68 or 70. Only in 69. They kind of harken back to the old carriages that would have the old lanterns out in the back or the front. It's really, really beautiful. Artistic, I guess you would call it. It's got decent tires all the way around. And again, if you look down the side, no dents, no caved in parts of the body, no serious rust holes. Again, there's the rust bubbles on the vinyl top. That is in very good shape for its age. I'm really amazed. This thing has factory footrests. Really cool feature. All the leather in this car is in good shape. It's not all trashed or cracked up. The wood, that is not fake wood, that is real wood veneer. And it has very comfortable seats. The lights behind me, they all work. They're not all broken or rusted or damaged or anything like that. And the headliner is like brand new. Really, it's like brand new. It's very nice. You actually squeeze that wood trim that's on the steering wheel and that would blow the horn. Most of these cars, that is deteriorated by now, and as you can see here, it's the same. I don't know that anyone even rebuilds those or even offers a service to redo them. Maybe they do, I'm not sure. So that is only one of two flaws in this interior. The other flaw being the clock doesn't work. There's no cracks on the dash. It's not all beat up and shredded. The seats are in good shape. All the power windows work. The cruise control works. The automatic climate control works. The radio works. Power locks, power seats, those all work as well. Everything works. I challenge you guys to find on Marketplace one of these old cars where everything works except for maybe a clock and the horn. Those are very minor items in the grand scheme of things. So this one also is for sale. And as I go along, any of the prices, what am I asking for it? Crazy D has all those numbers. You can get a hold of him. He'll discuss all those things with you. I'm just showing you the vehicles today. On to the next.
You're selling my car wizard.
No, you're selling your car.
I'm selling my car. I got a different one, so it's time to downsize for me too. Here, why don't you talk to him about it?
All right. This is Mrs. Wizard's 1993 Cadillac Alante with 147,000 miles on it. She kind of enjoyed it for a while. She drove it around. Once we got the SL500 that she has now, she's completely, basically forgotten about this car. I guess I kind of don't blame her. We got this car for her. I personally am not much into the Alantes, but I got it for her. But it is in pretty good shape. It does have some flaws, some things that I'm not going to fix. So let's take a look around the car, then we'll open the hood. There's no serious dents or rust on this car. It's in pretty decent shape and it has good, actually the tires are brand new. I just had those put on when we got it. There were some minor little dents back here. You can kind of see a little bit of a wave. Nothing too bad. As far as I know, it's never been wrecked or bashed up. It's got dual exhaust, and as you heard, it has somebody in the past has put a Flowmaster on it, and it sounds really good. This side also as well is not all beat up and dented. But it does have a little issue we had at home. Our crazy dog decided to get onto the paint with his claws and scratched it up. So obviously I'm going to take a hit on the price on that, I understand that. So I want to let you guys know that up front, the paint does have some little claw scratches in it from the dog. That's kind of just the way it is. I'm not going to do anything about it. The front end, all the headlights, everything works. Again, it's not dented or beat up or anything. You can see some more of the claw marks here on the paint. Take a look at the interior. It's in very good shape. The gauges are nice and bright. A lot of these are so dim you can barely read them, but these ones are pretty decent. The heater works, AC works, cruise works, all that stuff works. Power seats, power windows. The convertible top is all functional, everything works there. It's really in pretty good shape. Let's take a look under the hood. This is the infamous Cadillac Northstar V8, and it does not have blown head gaskets or any issues with that. It doesn't overheat, and it runs perfectly fine. But it does have one inherent Northstar flaw that I am not going to fix, and that is the upper oil pan leaks oil on this engine. It'll leave small little drips on the ground wherever you park it. It does leak a little oil. The fix for that is to drop the engine so that you can get the oil pan off and reseal it for silicone. That's the way it was sealed from the factory, was silicone. And that has failed over the years, and it's a huge job to fix it. I'm not going to pull the engine on this car. So it's going to be sold as is as far as that's concerned, the oil leak. As long as you monitor the oil over the months, it can totally be driven this way. It's not going to cause a big issue. It just has a little bit of drip on the ground. But that is something to disclose right away. The oil pan is leaking on this car. As you guys have seen in many videos, I purchased these vehicles and you find lots of surprises that the previous owner hid from you. I'm trying not to hide anything from you guys. I'm letting you know what's wrong, what you're going to expect when you buy the vehicle. Oh, and by the way, the white Caddy has 96,000 miles, in case you guys were wondering. I didn't mention it. So let's get to the final vehicle. We got one more to go. Yes, War Turtle is the final car I'm getting rid of.
There you go.
It is a sad, sad day. Yes, Mrs. Wizard is right. I'm going to be selling War Turtle. I actually kind of regret selling War Turtle. I love Beetles. You guys know that I love Beetles. But as I'm getting up in my years, and like I mentioned, I have arthritis going on in my body, the one thing I'm learning that I don't love at all on any car anymore is a manual stick shift. After I've been standing in the shop all day, my knees are hurting, my back is hurting, my hands are hurting, and I just want to cruise and go home and just kick back and relax. I don't want to think about, oh, what gear am I in? I come into every stop, and I actually arrive at home angry. That's not what I want to do. I want to cruise and relax on my way home, not get angry because I'm having to fool around with a stick shift all the time. It makes me mad, guys. It may be someday in the future I have another Beetle. It'll be an automatic. But this is a 2004 Turbo S Beetle. We've done multiple videos on it. It is in very good shape. Everything works. It's had a timing belt, water pump, everything, all the service is done on it. It does have one flaw that I will reveal to you guys and tell you what's going on with that. But let's take a look around the car. So it's in pretty good shape. It doesn't have any dents or scrapes or scratches over here. The front is in good shape. I did change out the emblems to a white and blue instead of the graphite color. I thought it popped really good and looked nice on the silver car. You can tell the bumper's been repainted in the past, but they did a pretty good job. It's just, you can see it's flaking right there around the turn signal. It does have some scrapes on the paint right here. It was that way when I bought it. I never messed with it, just left it alone. It has the beautiful Turbo S wheels. I think BBS makes them. And it has brand new tires all the way around. They still have the little nipples on them, I guess you call it. They're brand new. Down the side, no dents, no rust, no scratches. The roof's the same way, in good shape. Come around to the back. On this side, there's some crinkling here where I flexed the bumper for somehow or way. I don't know what they did to it, but you can see some crinkling there. It does have aftermarket exhaust on it. That's why it sounds so good as it does. It has a Flowmaster on it. Kind of more free-flowing. It has the War Turtle sticker. I'll leave that on. Whoever buys it can just keep that. That's part of a memento that it was the Car Wizards. As we come around to this side, there's nothing really going on until we get to this point here. You can see a red scrape. Somebody before I had this car scraped another car, or I'm not sure what happened there. Again, I never did mess with that. But otherwise, it's in very good shape on the exterior. Let's take a look at the interior. This has the Turbo S only two-tone seats, which is platinum color and also a dark gray. This side does have some wear, like typically they do on all these Beetles, from entrance and exit constantly over and over, but otherwise the seat's in good shape. It has the infamous 6-speed transmission that's only on the Turbo S, and it works flawlessly. All the gauges and everything, the radio works. I've installed the Crux Bluetooth mod, which allows you to use Bluetooth through the stock stereo, the Monsoon radio, and it works very well also. The headliner was redone at Low End Upholstery. You guys saw that in the video. I tried to do it myself and it just didn't turn out very well. I had them do it and they did an excellent job. So it has a fully redone headliner. Most of these Beetles by now, the headliner is shot. The back seat's also in very good shape. It's not ripped or torn up or destroyed. Very good shape. I mentioned there is one flaw with this car, and it is the temperature dial. Doesn't really do anything because inside the dash there's a flap that's broken. Almost every Beetle of this age has the broken flap, and it requires the whole dash to come out. So I know if I pull the dash, it's going to destroy it. It's not cracked, it's not beat up, and as soon as we pull the dash, it will be cracked and it will be beat up. I decided to do a small modification, and I'll show you what I did out in the engine bay. It's a little wet in here where I washed it off. So there's some water droplets, but that's not a big deal. The engine cover is removed because I like the way that it looks this way, and the engine cover is gone. I've gotten rid of it. You guys can hear a little pump running. That's the auxiliary coolant pump for the heater. That's all that noise is. Here's the sticker here. Timing belt, water pump, all the seals, everything's been done there. Coolant flush, all the fluids have been changed out. New serpentine belt and everything. Has new control arms, ball joints, all kinds of, you can look in previous videos of things that we did. This pop-off valve, or whatever you want to call it, it's a forged diverter valve, and it works very well. But you can see back behind there, you can see right there is a little valve, like a corkscrew that you can turn for the heater core. In the fall and winter, I'll open that up, and that allows me to have heat, and I stay warm. In the summer, I turn it off, and my AC works. It works perfectly. So in the summer, I stay ice cold. In the winter, I can be toasty warm, all the turning of a valve. That valve can be left open, and you don't have to worry about it anymore if you decide to pull the dash and do the flap and take care of that. That is the only flaw with this car. So there you have it, all 4 vehicles that I have for sale, and I've given the reasoning behind them, why we're selling them. Most of these has just been sitting, and it's just not doing any justice to these cars. They could go to someone who's an enthusiast who could really enjoy these cars. All the prices, again, check with Crazy D. He has all the information and the prices there in the office. There'll be a link in the description below to get to our Omega Auto Clinic page and get all the contact info that way. Thanks for following along, guys, and checking out all these cars. There'll be another car that I've purchased that you guys are going to get to see a video on. It's really cool. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, I really recommend you do that now. We got many more cool videos. Thanks for watching.